Hi, my name's Christopher David Mitchell. I'm a coach, and today I want to discuss the controversial topic of Simone Biles, the American gymnast, quitting for mental health reasons. I'm going to discuss both sides of the argument. So before anyone here calls me the Woke Brigade or a social justice warrior, I'm actually going to see the other side of the perspective of the argument that someone like Piers Morgan is talking about when he's saying she shouldn't have quit and she's using the mental health as an excuse. And I'm just going to be going through my thoughts on what I think is going on a sort of human psychological development level, and why it's actually a very important moment in time for sport and really for the world. Okay, so why is this controversial? What are both sides of the argument here? Well, the people who are for Simone Biles speaking out, talking about her mental health, are saying that she's very courageous to do so, saying that it's brilliant that people can show their emotions, can show their feelings more, and in a world of sporting achievement, it's a refreshing change for a human being, not just a human doing, to say, hey, do you know what, I'm not feeling it and I'm struggling a bit at the moment. Okay, there's the for argument, and the against seems to be coming from, the people who, rant against the Woke Brigade, the social justice warriors. And it's people like Piers Morgan. If you see on his Twitter, he's saying that, she should have just got on with it, and she should have toughened up, and she should have been strong, and she should have not showed her feelings, and a true champion would have just got on with it, and she's using the mental health sort of thing as an excuse because she didn't do well. So let's dive deep and explore both sides. So let's start with a perspective that I lean very much more towards and that I'm in agreement with more, which is that, this was a good thing that she spoke out and did that. This was a good thing for sport. This was a good thing for the world. So let's get in the mind of, a top world-class athlete like Simone and see what environment she's in. She is in an environment that is ultra competitive, that is all about success, success at all costs, high achievement, materialism almost, awards, fame, social status recognition, right? So this all builds up with a pressure, right? And as sports people, of course, I know the argument could be, well, she chose to be in that situation. True. But also, there's a lot of people that are put in that situation in terms of they're talented and they're passionate about it. Think about actors, musicians, just people who are very elite at one aspect of life. And we've got to remember they're still human beings. They still have feelings, they still have emotions, and no awards or recognition or social status or amount of success can ever just make you invincible, right? She's still a person with feelings and emotions, and she will go through, as a human being should, the whole range of emotions. So in an environment when everyone is a high achiever, everyone wants to be the best, wants the awards, wants to be number one, wants all the success, it actually took more courage in that environment for her to say, I'm struggling. I'm not really feeling it. I'm just really struggling. I'm worried about my mental health. That is a woman who's more conscious. That is a woman that is at this crossroads of prioritizing success and achievement and personal happiness and well-being. And the high achievers, of course, will get these two mixed up. They'll think, well, they just go together. If I'm more successful and I achieve more, I'll be happier. And that's the massive counterintuitive trap, is that actually these things are different, and it takes some skills in life to become successful, but it takes different skills, awareness, consciousness to be more happy, be in tune with your feelings and your emotions, and be aware, instead of chasing more success, that I need to slow down temporarily for the greater good to be happier. So what she did was she did a move that triggered a lot of the people who are all about success, 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 because she did a move where she chose her own happiness and well-being over success. And I think that's a smart move, because of course, just chasing success is not going to make you happy. The chasing success and achievements and awards and number one and all this, that is a system. It's called hedonic adaptation, hedonic treadmill, wanting more achievements that is not designed to make you happy. And really, if she'd have kept going down this road where Piers Morgan and people are saying, just keep going, just, push through, just keep persevering, just get on with it. Well, let's analyze that. What has happened to a lot of the celebrities who are in such a pressured environment, who got told to just keep going, just get on with it, just keep pushing through? And they weren't courageous enough to say, I'm really struggling at the moment. What happened to those celebrities? Piers Morgan, all that, he wouldn't think about this. What happened to Avicii? Avicii, the music producer, was under so much pressure from his label because they were in this success, achievement, materialistic sort of worldview. Just keep pumping out more success, more songs, more money, more tours. Poor Avicii, if you've ever seen a documentary, was absolutely exhausted. He was under so much pressure because, like you say, man or woman, he's a human being. And what did he do? He went out into the woods and slit his wrists. I know that sounds dramatic, but this idea from someone like Piers Morgan, saying like she should just get on with it. Well, if you said to Piers, well, yeah, but what do you think about Avicii? And if you'd have told Avicii that, would you have had a conscience afterwards? Of course, he probably would have gone, oh, no, that wasn't because of that. He would be complete denial of that. But it's the culture as a whole. I'm not blaming Piers Morgan here. And actually, there's one part that I agree with him, which we'll get on to. But it's the culture as a whole that doesn't even allow people to be vulnerable. It demonizes and says it's weak. The power of vulnerability, as Brené Brown says, the most courageous, strongest thing you can do, counterintuitively, is not to just bottle it all in and get on with it. It's to be courageous enough to say, I'm struggling. This is so counterintuitive. And the people say, no, you've got to be macho. You've got to be strong. You can't show your feelings. You can't show emotions. I mean, come on. It's almost laughable these days how outdated that notion is. And believe me, I've come from it. Like I grew up in the northeast of England. I was a lad playing football and you can't do this and you can't do that. Come on, we've evolved since then. And if you had to put on a spectrum here of personal development, of psychological development, if you had to say, we've got, in one respect, we've got the people who are all about success and they value achievement and success and, fame and awards and recognition. And you had to put them next to the Woke Brigade, who are talking about how they feel and their emotions and their mindfulness and their mental health well-being. Who do you think is more evolved psychologically? And the answer is, it's these guys over here. The quote-unquote Woke Brigade, the social justice warriors, the people who are able to be vulnerable. They're able to communicate more authentically, to talk about their emotions, to talk about their feelings. They are more developed than the people who are just all about achievement and they're not able to fully express how they feel. It's a massive counterintuitive one, that one. Because I remember when I first heard this, I was like, what? The sort of, vegan hippies here, the social justice warriors, are more evolved than someone who's achieving and is success orientated. I was like, that can't be right. Well, it turns out it is. If you look into every single personal, like psychological developmental model about how people evolve, a good one just for quick reference is spiral dynamics. You'll see that The people who believe in success and you can't quit and you can't show emotions and it's all about achievement and more success and more fame and more, those people are not as developed as the people, as I say, who are talking about how they feel or community or mental health, or they're going with their emotions, their intuition, and they're able to be vulnerable. This is more evolved. It takes more development as a person to get to that stage. This is a huge one that society's battling. And of course, that's why there's the argument. Because the high ultra achievers, are triggered by the Woke Brigade, i.e. these people who are more in touch with their feelings and their emotions. And, that someone like Simone, who was talking about things like mindfulness, that's more evolved. She is a step ahead of just constantly success chasing. But of course, the ultra rationalists and the ultra success people and the high achievers, they don't like to hear this and they'll deny this. And if you're watching this video now and you're some success person who says, oh, people shouldn't talk about their feelings, give this, video a dislike, I'm sure. But be educated. Look up spiral dynamics. Look up Susan Crook-Greuter. Look up Ken Wilber's psychological developmental models. Every single model will tell you this exact same thing, that the Woke Brigade here are more evolved than just people who are obsessed with achievement and success. It's a bit of a generalization, but if you look at those models in depth, you will realize this. And this is just this clashing of spiral dynamics stage orange, the ultra achievers who don't want to ever quit or show emotions, versus stage green in spiral dynamics, which are the people who are more emotional, they feel more, they're more in touch with their authentic emotions and authentic communication, and they're more worried about their mental health well-being. They're generally in the stage green camp, and stage green is, the next level beyond stage orange. Stage green is more evolved. So that's the big thing that's going on in society here, and that's the big clash. So I hope that's covered a bit of that perspective before. I want to give both sides, just to be fair. We discuss a tiny bit of what someone like Piers Morgan, we get inside his perspective and point of view about what he has to say about it. Okay, so after all that, you might have already switched off by now, but if you're here, I'm glad you are, because I always like to see the world from everyone else's perspective, from other perspectives, thinking, what point has she got? What point has he got? And this is the best way to look at things. Even if I don't agree with Piers Morgan, maybe there's always a kernel of truth. Maybe there's a tiny bit of truth in his perspective, so let's dive deeper. So one of the things he said was, I think she's using it as an excuse, she's got mental health issues, as an excuse because she didn't do as well. Now, although I don't agree with that, I will say that I have seen, in my opinion, other people in society use, unfortunately, a bit of victim mentality and pointing towards mental health as a manipulative tool. You see, the problem is something like mental health, saying I've got mental health issues, I think should be respected. And like I say, I've just talked how much that I am completely more in favor that it was a great thing. But the problem is mental health is such a powerful tool that some people will manipulate it. Some people will play the victim, do like playing the victim, and understand that victimhood, although it's not a very empowering place to be, is such a strong sort of place to be that it can manipulate. The other problem, of course, with mental health is it's abstract. So with physical health, we can see that I've physically broken my arm or something like that. With mental health, we can't see it. It's intangible. And that's why there's so much confusion and conflict around this, because no one can necessarily prove that one has got mental health problems. And like I say, it's such a powerful tool because it's steeped in it can be steeped in a bit of victimhood and a bit of if someone says I've got mental health problems, it's very easy to sort of really empathize with that or feel sorry and But some people, unfortunately, will always use powerful tools, powerful emotional tools to manipulate their way through life. I'm not saying Simone did at all. I completely believe her. But I've also seen some examples of people quickly jumping on a bit of a mental health thing and saying, oh, it's my mental health, when I'm sometimes not 100% sure it is. And the problem with the Woke Brigade, I'll call them now, but we could call them stage green spiral dynamics. The problem with those people who like I say, are more evolved than the achievers and the rationalists. But the problem that the sort of stage green, slightly, hippie-esque people have is that they would say that like mental health should never be questioned. If someone says that they've got mental health issues, you can never question that. And that's the problem Piers Morgan ran into, actually, when he questioned someone using the mental health thing as an excuse. But I don't think he should have been fired for that or walked out, because the fact is that although it's true that most people are being genuine about it, we also should be able to question these things. And if we can't question the fact of like, are they telling the truth or not, then that's when it becomes such a powerful tool. Imagine having a tool of saying, I've got mental health issues, and then no one can ever question you. Like, people are going to take advantage of that. So even though I believe Simone Biles on this one, I still think that he's got a little bit of a point in a general way of like, we should be able to question whether this person's being truthful or not. And we should be able to talk about it without everyone saying, you cannot question anyone's mental health. That's not true either, because then you make it such a strong weapon that people will manipulate. And there's been people, like I say, we're not in a fairy tale world here. There are people in society that will take advantage, will manipulate, and will use whatever tools they've got. So if there is a tool that no one will ever question, it's actually more dangerous for society. So I get what he means a little bit, and I think because mental health is such a intangible, abstract topic that has an inability to be proven, I think that we probably will see some people using it to manipulate their way through circumstances. So that's what we've got to be careful of. But that's how society evolves, right? Society evolves like a pendulum. Like, if no one talked, which is the whole Piers Morgan people, who are the success people, who are the macho people, no one's been talking about mental health and how they feel for decades. So of course, at the moment, the pendulum has swung the other way, where people are wanting to like say how they feel and stuff, because people have bottled it in for bloody years. Because, if we have emotions, and we should be able to share them without shame. And then point is, we will rebalance. We're in a period of time that is sort of like the other extreme, where everyone's been bottling up their feelings and their emotions and their true authentic selves for decades. And now everyone seems to be saying, I've got mental health problems, I'm struggling, I've got this and that, which is fine. And like I say, some people think it's too much, but understand it's just a pendulum swing the other way, because we've been so far sort of constrained with our emotions for decades. So eventually soon it will balance back out. It's just a natural flow of how we're evolving as a society. So that's my thoughts on the Simone Biles situation. Like I say, in conclusion, I'm very much for what she did. I think it's important. I believe her. And I think counterintuitively, it takes more courage in an environment that values success and achievement and social status and recognition. It takes more courage to be able to speak your authentic truth and your authentic emotions. And that is a more well-rounded person who's got more chance of fulfillment and happiness down the line, whereas the person who bottles everything up, keeps winning, has to win, and puts all this pressure on themselves, there's high chance, and we see it all the time, unfortunately, that leads to depression, it leads to loneliness, and it sometimes leads to suicide or drug addiction. But this here is a better way to go generally, when people can evolve to be able to talk about their true feelings, discuss these emotions that we all feel as human beings. That authenticity, that vulnerability, it takes more courage, it takes more inner wisdom, and it ultimately will lead to happier and more fulfilled people and, you know, sportsmen and women as well. So that's it for today. Thanks so much. Please like this video if you did, and if you didn't because you got triggered, well, you can let me know in the comments. I'm still cool with it. Because it's impossible for me to put out a video like this without someone in some country somewhere saying, oh, this guy's talking rubbish. So I fully expect it. I'm up for it. Let me know in the comments. Let me know. I'm completely up for it. And, you know, even if you don't agree, that's cool, because that's what makes the world go around. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Check out my website, christopherdavidmitchell.com, where, you know, I do life coaching and personal development coaching to try and develop people through the sort of developmental cycles where they're obsessed with achievement and success and recognition, and I need more achievement, more awards and more everything, into saying, if you want to be happier, you've actually slightly got to let go of success chasing, as counterintuitive as that sounds, and you've got to be okay being authentic and being second place, and you've got to be able to be okay with that. Hard to do when you've been brought up with a belief system that's always been about achievement, but that's the actual path to more happiness and fulfillment in life. So if you need help on that, you can book a coaching session with me. Check out my website, christopherdavidmitchell.com. Like I say, there's some free resources on there, and subscribe if you want more of these in the future. And till next time, I'll see you then. Take care.